Hello, I'm Katie with your Muncie Public Library, and today I'm going to talk to you about our e-learning tips and tricks for setting up a workspace and structuring homework time. One thing to think about before you start homework with your child is where are you going to have your child do their homework? What location in your house works best for them? You want a location where distractions are minimized so that they get their homework done in a timely manner, but you also need to think about who your kid is. Are they someone that does really well working on their own so they can be in an area like the kitchen table? Or are they someone that maybe needs their own space and it would be better for them to do homework in their room? That's something that you have to determine as the parent. Now, this can be used as homework time from a normal school day, or it can be used with structuring homework time after an e-learning day. So first we'll talk about setting up a workspace. Now, before you go to set up a work and learning space in your home, there's a couple things that you need to think about. The first one being your child. You need to know what works best for your child specifically. Are they a kid that needs quiet? Do they need ways to wiggle? So they need something to fidget with or maybe bounce their feet on while they're in their learning sessions. Do they need to have a drink nearby, or do they need headphones? Because you'll want all of those things within reach in their workspace. You'll also want to think about the location in your home. You want to make sure that you minimize the distractions so that your kiddo is able to pay the most attention to their lesson, as well as have a designated workspace. Now, this can be difficult in some homes because space is limited, so we'll talk a little bit about creating a space as well. When you designate a space, that sets and have that space set for school work or for e-learning work, that helps to have helps your child focus on what they need to do. That is their learning space, that is where their learning takes place, and then it doesn't transition into other areas of the home. Now, if you have limited space in your house, you may have to think about what you already have available. Do you need the learning space to be a coffee table or the kitchen table? And how can you alter that space to make it work best for your child and work best for their learning? When you're creating your space, you want to make sure that you give your child some creativity and some freedom. So let them decorate it. Let them choose what seat they use. Maybe they need some special things nearby to help make it feel more comfortable for them. And then you'll also want to make sure that you have commonly used tools available nearby as well, so that your child doesn't have to get up and get them if their teacher asks for it, such as extra pencils, erasers, crayons, markers, paper, anything that they might need for the lesson. How do you create a space when space is limited? So not everybody has an area in their house that they can just designate as a workspace or a learning space, and that's okay because you can turn other spaces into your home into those areas with just a few little things. So if you need to use a table, such as a coffee table or a kitchen table for your child's learning space, one thing that you can do is create kind of this distraction blocker, as I like to call it. So for this, I've just used 2 folders. I've overlapped them and glued them right here, and then I've added some tape just to reinforce it. Now, you could also buy a trifold board at the store. Those will also work well. So what you'll do is wherever your child's going to be working, you just set this up. You'll want to make sure that their tablet, their Chromebook, their computer, whatever they're using for their e-learning is within the little blocker space here, and all this does is just help filter out some of the visuals that might be around them. So you might want something that's a little bit taller just to help block out a little more stuff. Again, it's what works best for your child. But this way you set that space on the table that is theirs. They have that help minimizing those distractions. And then also once the e-learning or learning's done for the day, you can also just pop it down and put it away. So then you can use that space for whatever you need to again. The other thing that you need to think about is what time works best to do your kiddos' homework. If they need help with a project from an adult, then you'll want to make sure it's a time where you or someone else is available to help them. So it may not be able to be done right after school if you're a working parent. When picking a time that works best for your family and for your child to do their homework, you also want to keep in mind what you can keep consistent. Keeping a consistent homework time and schedule with your child helps them know when to expect homework to be done and helps them get into a routine so that they'll know each day that that's the time that they're expected to do their homework. The next thing to do is establish a schedule with your child. So first, think about what homework they have that needs to be done. And then about how much time is each of those assignments going to take. You can help by doing this, you help your child determine what things they may want to do first or what things they need to do first. And then looking at that, you want to make sure that you look at if anything needs parent help so that you can make sure that you're available to help your child with that project. Now, one resource that I found that I really liked is doing a checklist for your kiddos to make sure that they get all of their assignments done. And I have an example with me today. So this one's really simple. I just found it online and it just says my to-do list. I went ahead and laminated it because I like to make things where you can use them again. So you would write the assignment on the line, and once your child has completed it, they would just put a check mark by it. And you would do that for however many assignments that they had for the day. You can do that if you know they're going to have certain assignments ahead of time, you can go ahead and fill them in ahead of time, but otherwise you can help them write this down so that they can help follow through on their own. I like to make sure that there's a lot of choice built into homework time. If you have assignments that are going to take roughly about the same amount of time, let your child pick which one they want to do first. It makes it a little less frustrating for them, as well as they might have an assignment that they're excited about, and it might be easier to start homework time with that. If you have a kiddo that gets easily frustrated with their homework, you'll want to make sure that you build in breaks. Just short ones, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, so that your child has an opportunity to kind of get up, walk away from the assignment that's frustrating them, and then come back to it when they've calmed down a little bit. If you notice that your child is getting frustrated during an assignment but they're not walking away, you might want to encourage them to get up and to take a break. I know that I was personally really bad about this as a child. I would get really frustrated, but I would not want to walk away. So my parents would actually have to make me stop and walk away for a little bit so that I could come back and kind of be in a different mindset when I tackled that project or that homework. One thing that I really like for homework time is to have a call tree, is what they've been calling it, but have another parent in your class that you can call if your child has forgotten an assignment or they're not sure how to do it. That way you have somebody to check in with so you can still get that homework done. You can also check in with your child's teacher, but I know sometimes after school they're a little bit harder to contact. So if you have another parent that you can reach out to, that's great. That works in the case of doing an e-learning day or in just a traditional school day setting as well when you've got homework after school. If you like our e-learning tips and tricks series, please like and subscribe to our channel. For more resources, please visit munciepubliclibrary.org.